My name is Lauren Williams. I'm an artist based in Dallas, Texas. I call my art canvas with movement because it's constantly moving. I mean, no matter what I want to do, the strands will move. Even if I go in the studio and I will brush them straight before I will make, any sort of design on it. But it's really really understanding that the work is gonna move, the perfection is not needed. It's just so many different concepts of materials and leaning into kind of just the natural forces that will work with this sort of art. Allowing colors to bleed and overlap and turn into a whole other color that I wasn't expecting, and then saying, that mess is so beautiful. And just really leaning into the beautiful messes that I tend to create. I had no intention of becoming an artist. I've always loved interior design. And anyways, one weekend, I basically put this whole contraption together and used my kids paints and really diluted them and tried to dip, and it was a Frankenstein of a project at the beginning, but once I finished it and popped it up on the wall, my husband was like, I really like that. And I thought, okay, maybe other people like it too. I took a little picture, a little snapshot. It's literally the first photo or the first post on my Instagram now, but I posted it and I said, check out this underground artist I discovered this weekend, joking, and people were like, really? Who's this artist? This is really cool. What's the name? And then I revealed, you guys, it's just me. I was kidding, but surely from there, really small people, little DMs, could you make me one? Long story short, I started just selling off from, Instagram. I would post a picture and people would say, I'd love it, and I'd sell it. I was able to completely develop a style that was mine, a style that really fed me first and was an outlet and a creative, source for me. So I think that starting from a place of just curiosity and fulfillment, if I don't do this, I can't think of doing anything else ever. That source of pure artistic creativity, I think, is what really was a great starting point for the business before it was a business. This art form, I made it up. I had never seen anything like that. I'd seen tapestries or textile art, but I had never seen this form of artwork. And so it was something that I created, and I was very concerned with, perfection and ironically, it was hundreds and hundreds of individual strands that I was really trying to lay flat and treat like an actual canvas, or, something that I could draw straight lines with. And I was at the very, very beginning of leaning into this art form. I was very controlling over the art, and I threw a lot of pieces away, or I was just very unhappy with a lot of the work. I thought, what is going on? I'm making art, I'm working so hard, I'm working so fast. I feel like I'm being smart. That was the point where I started praying. I said, I can't work any harder. I can't work any smarter. I can't work any faster. I can't work any better. I am operating at my best, and it's not enough. So at that total flip and flop of priorities, it started changing how I made art. I started thinking, instead of getting in the studio and just controlling all of these strands, why not let them be these individual strands that are flowing and moving, and they're just gorgeous. And I started just allowing everything in my life to flow directly from God in that process. If you look at it on a spiritual level, all things are different, all things are unique, but all things are really great. And to leaning into that blank canvas and creating the art and letting the flow just happen, and the drips and the overlap of colors and blending. And I always say this in my studio, I say there's no mistakes. We can't mess up. Sometimes when I have people that work with me in the studio, and I might ask them to help me do something, and they'll be like, oh, I messed it up. And I'm like, no, you can't. You really can't. And that's what's so cool about the art. At least I feel that I can't mess it up. I think that just having that approach of creating something really, because if you didn't, you would feel you would feel that hole, So leaning into the creativity and the artistic, part of yourself that just says to make it, just do it, just make it. And then, the trust, then you start to gain that confidence, and you start trusting yourself, and you start trusting okay, I've made this really cool piece. I like it so far, but can I take it a step further? How do I push the boundaries of this art that I've already made? Maybe I've made it 10 different times in different colorways, but how do I take it to that next level? And I think leaning into that confidence and that trust that really comes from surrendering at the beginning helps grow your practice and grow your skills.